I'm in Bali right now. This is how I split my life for maximum progress and maximum enjoyment at the same time.
So when it comes to the problem of making progress in life and actually enjoying it, there's this problem of balance. The average guy, he wakes up, does his 9 to 5, comes home, maybe watches Netflix with a pint of ice cream in his hand, maybe on the weekend, goes out, drinks a couple of beers, maybe talks to a 4 out of 10 girl. That's about it. Problem is, you're working kind of hard, you're making a little bit of progress, and then you're enjoying yourself a little bit, I guess. So you're working a little bit and you're enjoying it a little bit. You're kind of just half-assing everything. You're not getting the best of anything. So that's option A. Now you have the people who say that they're gonna lock in and they got this crazy routine and they're starting all these businesses and that they're never going out ever again. They're never touching any substances. They're just staying in their little room, grinding away at their laptop. And a couple days goes by, it's fine. A couple of weeks, they're starting to feel a little bit depressed. A few more weeks go past and wouldn't you know it, they're burnt out. They've relapsed on everything and then they're back to their old life. They quit. They say dropshipping, e-commerce, business, nothing works, and you just got to go back to the 9 to 5. That's the only way out of here. And why is that? Because they burnt out. Why is that? Because the universe loves balance. The universe is balance. Without pain, there is no pleasure. Without pleasure, there is no pain. So you can't just infinitely subjugate yourself to just periods of torture with just no end in sight. That's just unrealistic. And I don't care if you're David Goggins or you're Jocko Willing or you're Alex Hormozy. Like, what's even the point? Okay, you're just working so you can work more. Okay, well, at some point, you've got to enjoy the fruits of your labor. And the best way I found to get the best of both worlds, where instead of half-assing your pleasure and your work, therefore kind of getting the worst out of everything, you fully send it, you up the throttle. So imagine we're here. So this is your work, this is your work, this is your enjoyment. Instead, we up our work and we up our enjoyment. Notice how there is still a balance. When there is an imbalance, say you have low work, high enjoyment, guess what? That's not going to last long. You're going to fall off because if all you do is enjoy yourself, then there's not going to be anything of yourself to show for it. And eventually the universe will yin yang and you'll have no enjoyment and you'll just feel like complete ass and you have a dopamine overload and your brain's all messed up. Same on the other hand, if you work way too much and you have no enjoyment, guess what happens? We already talked about that. Burnt out, fatigue, you feel tired, you don't want to talk to anyone. You start craving these crazy things. Like the things, when I've overweighted myself, the things I start craving, like I go like full like caveman brain. It's kind of weird. So when you have these control periods of just military discipline and just focus, there needs to be an end goal in sight. For example, these past few months, I had a trip to Bali coming up, and that was the sole reason that I kept going with anything. Whenever I started to think, oh, maybe I should take a break, oh, what am I even doing? Like I'm starting to feel kind of tired. I don't want to do this right now. I just thought about it. Bali. I just conditioned myself with one word. When I didn't want to do my cardio, when I didn't want to put the fork down, I just thought, Bali. Having a goal and a point to which you are aiming to is the number one determinant that will decide if you actually stick to your goals and if you actually achieve what you set out to achieve. Because you can't infinitely just do something. There needs to be a point that you need to get to for your brain to understand that it needs to go there. You know, you can't just go for a walk and say, okay, that's it. I'm just walking now. Okay, well, that doesn't make sense to your brain, does it? Oh, okay, you're just walking. Okay, for how long? Till where? Why? There needs to be like something in there. So how do you actually structure this? Well, for everyone, it'll be a little bit different. For me personally, periods of around 12 to 16 weeks, I find is the sweet spot. If I go a little bit more, that's when I start going a little wonky in the head and I start just being a little naughty. If I go less than 12 weeks, well, then it's not enough time for me to feel like I've actually deserved it. And that guilt from enjoying yourself comes back. You know, when you're hopping on the game with the boys and you just feel like you should be doing something better with your life. But after those 12, 16 weeks, you're going out having fun. You know, you have zero guilt. You know, you earned this. You deserve this. This is planned. If anything, this is what you need for business to avoid burnout. And the fun part, once you've done the work, is the period of the bender. The most important thing is to make sure the bender actually has an end. This is why traveling to a different place is good because there's a destination where you can change, you can swap into a different identity. That's what I did when I went to Bali. I stepped out of my usual kind of thoughtful, introspective, like regulated self, and I stepped into a much more like outgoing, carefree, just fun version of myself who just doesn't care anymore. And that kind of separation is what makes sure that when you come back, you'll just step into your former self without actually carrying over any of the bad habits. This can work while you're still at home, but traveling is definitely the best way to go about it. I would go to a country like Bali, definitely going overseas if you can. If you can't, maybe book a hotel with the boys in a different city or just travel out a bit. But I would recommend to keep these little windows short and sweet, 1 to 2 weeks at a time, maybe 3 weeks is about the limit I would go. After that, that's when the negatives kind of start catching up to you and you kind of just stop enjoying it anyway. Like when you're on holiday for too long, it doesn't really feel like a holiday anymore. Like the novelties kind of ran out and you just start kind of feeling a bit bored and like it's not even that good anymore. So keep it short and sweet. So by having these different seasons of life, you can fully focus on one thing at a time and making superb progress. So you work so much and you make so much progress because all you're thinking and doing is work. And then when you're enjoying yourself, all you're thinking about is enjoying yourself and you don't have any of this guilt or this feeling that you need to be doing something else, and you can fully stay present and enjoy yourself. Now, this type of life isn't for everyone. I'll keep it straight with you. I'm not just going to be the guy who says, do this. So selling you a course, do that. Obviously, this option is best when you're young. If you have a family or you have like responsibilities and all that stupid stuff, then this option might not be for you. But if you're a young guy, you can definitely just go balls to the wall with this and make crazy amounts of progress. I know some people who have completely turned their lives around and still I see them on Instagram doing the craziest things just because they follow this kind of 2-step protocol. If you have any questions about implementing these seasons of life, drop a comment below and let me know what season you're in right now. And if you need help making progress in sort of the work areas of your life and also the enjoyment, like your social and your confidence, check out the top link in the description. That should really help you out a lot. That'll be all from me today. See ya.